Welcome to your very first day here at the Nordic Mindset. On behalf of me and our founder Søren Lynge and the rest of the team, a warm welcome to you. And also a huge big fat congratulations and the pat on the back for doing this. Not everyone works on their mindset. It's not something the average person does, but you've chosen to do so, and we think you rock. Now, the first few days will cover one topic per day. The first 3 days is sort of our core values, our core principles here at the Nordic Mindset. And the first thing we're going to tackle today is the 3 problems. We believe that each problem that I've ever had, that you've ever had, that anyone in the world will ever have, can be put into either one of 3 categories. Category 1 are uncontrollable problems that are out there in the world, that you can't do anything about, regardless how much you think about it, how much you talk about it, how much we may even bitch about it. There's nothing we can do about it. Those are uncontrollable problems. So what could that be? Well, war, the weather, inflation, politicians we don't agree with. These are all uncontrollable problems. You know, you could worry and spend a lot of time worrying about that it's going to rain on your birthday. But in reality, there's nothing you can do about it, even if it happened. So those are uncontrollable problems out there in the world. The second type of problems are problems that other people have, or problems that other people have that we may have with them that somehow affect us. Truth is, it's hard enough to change yourself. It's impossible to change other people. So problems out there in the world we can't really do anything about. And problems with other people or other people's problems, we can't really do anything about that either. The problem is that for most people, they spend a lot of time talking about, thinking about, worrying about, even stressing about and bitching about the problems in the first 2 categories, which are problems that they can't solve or do anything about anyway, even if they try, no matter how hard they try. Now, the last category of problems is the 3rd category. And what is that? That's problems concerning ourselves. Now, the only problems that I'm able to solve are problems concerning me. I'm the only one who can solve them. Now, if I'm overweight and I want to lose weight and I want to get a fitness trainer, a personal trainer, I have to do the work. Now, I can look for help out there, but it's still me who has to do the push-ups. Now, sadly, we can't pay anyone to do our push-ups for us and to do our sit-ups for us. And that's the way you got to look at it. There are problems in the 1st and 2nd category that you can't do anything about, but do you spend time on those 2 types of problems? And if you do, isn't that costing you time that you could have spent on the last category of problems, problems concerning you? Now, when we do our public speaking engagements, we often ask the audience, after having explained this to them, how much time do you think you spend worrying about problems in the 1st and 2nd category, thinking about it, stressing about it, talking about it, yapping about it with your friends or at work or bitching about it? And what's really depressing is that people tell us that half of the time, or even 80% of the time they spend on problems, are spent on problems in the 1st and 2nd category, problems that are out there in the world uncontrollable, or problems that somehow concern other people that we can't really do anything about either. Now, all of that time could have, of course, been spent tackling problems in the 3rd category, trying to find solutions for problems in the 3rd category. That's what we need to learn. Now imagine renting a cool car. I remember I was in my 20s, which is obviously not that long ago. I went to Las Vegas and I rented a yellow Ferrari 355 convertible. It was unbelievably fast. It was so much fun. Now imagine you renting a cool car like that, but the only speed you know how to access is the 1st and maybe the 2nd speed. All the other speeds are inaccessible to you, so you're missing out. That's kind of the same thing as wasting so much mental energy and resources and thoughts and time and hours a day thinking about problems, worrying about problems that either way we can't solve. We could have spent that time tackling problems that regard us that we ourselves can in fact solve. So the first lesson, the first strategy that we want to give you here at the Nordic Mindset is exactly that. Think about what types of problems you have. There's an assignment that goes along with this video. You can find it in the description below the video. Do the assignment. Start thinking about how much time are you spending on uncontrollable problems out there in the world. that you can't solve anyway? How much time is that taken away from you spending time on problems that you could have solved that would then give you a much better life? How much time are you wasting on problems that other people have, or that you somehow have with other people that you can't really do anything about either? Could you have spent that time more intelligently and better working on problems that you yourself could solve? I think we all could. I'm gonna end with a little story. An old guy, William, 80 years old, he dies and he goes to heaven. And he's there at the gates to heaven, the pearly gates, and St. Peter is there to greet him. And St. Peter says, "Hi, William, did you have a nice life?" And this old grumpy bastard says, "I don't really know about that. I mean, I lived in Denmark. It was either cold or it rained. And my wife, she was a terrible cook. And don't even get me started about my boss. My boss was a jerk." And St. Peter goes, wait a second. I hear you complaining a lot. Have you spent a lot of your life complaining, let's say on a day-to-day basis? William says, "Well, I don't know, a couple of hours or more, maybe a day." And St. Peter says, "Well, if you spend like 3 to 4 hours a day in a week, that adds up to 1 day per week. That adds up to 52 days a year. Now, you've lived 80 years. That means that 10 or 11 years of your life have just been consumed by this talking about and bitching about and stressing about things that you were mad at, that bothered you. Let me ask you, did your wife become a better cook because you complained?" And William says, "No, I don't think so." "And did your boss become a nicer person because you complained all the time?" "No, not really." "Did the weather in Denmark become better because you were mad that it rained or it was cold?" "No." "Well, haven't you then just wasted 10 years or even 11 years of your life just talking about, worrying about, stressing about, bitching about things that you couldn't change anyway?" And William says, "Well, gosh, I guess you're right. Whoa, I've wasted 11 years of my life being negative. Oh, you can just send me back down." But sadly, there's no do-over. As far as I know, and maybe you've got different information than I do, but we only get one life. So it's important that we look. What type of problems am I having? Am I in fact spending a lot of time on problems out there in the world or problems with other people that I can't change anyway? And is that taken away from time and mental energy and focus that I could have spent on my own problems, maybe solved them and gotten a much easier life where I'd be happier? So look at your assignment for this week. Try to assess how much time are you spending on the first 2 categories. And also, if I may encourage you to do some extra work, take out a clean piece of paper, write down, just empty your head, write them all down. Everything you complain about, everything that annoys you, just write it all down. Now, once you've emptied your head, take your pen and cross out all the problems that are uncontrollable. That maybe you spend time, annoyed about the weather, or maybe you spend mental energy worrying about that it's gonna rain on your birthday. Just empty your head, cross out all those things that are uncontrollable, that are in the first category. And then also cross out all the problems that concern other people that you really can't do much about either. I'm gonna bet you're gonna be left with a pretty short list of problems that you yourself could be attacking, that you yourself should be attacking. And if you did, your life would be so much more peaceful. You'd have so much more joy. Those were the thoughts of the day for the first day of your Nordic Mindset course. I cannot wait to be back tomorrow and tell you about the second core principle of the Nordic Mindset. I'll see you tomorrow.